Could you talk about that play on special teams, like what it meant? Like, do you take pride in your special teams work and how that translates to being a linebacker?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in special teams and, just running down fast. And I've been meaning to make a play like that for some time now and actually panned out. So it felt pretty good. Coach Lord put me in a good spot to succeed and worked out well for the team.
How often do you actually get a chance to practice that kind of a collision on a kickoff return?
Never. We can't. We don't get to practice it in practice, so it's just a matter of being prepared for when that time comes, and just not breaking down, just kind of running through the guy.
Can you walk us through the emotion of what you're seeing when you get there, and then once you have that contact, just what that feels like, if you can describe it?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you hit a home run, you square it up on the barrel and you don't feel anything. Honestly, I didn't really feel much. I think I put all my force into the other guy, so I'm sure he felt most of it. But yeah, it's a great feeling.
At what point do you know that that's going to be there? Like when you're running down, there's a chance I'm going to make this play.
Yeah, coach coaches us up well to figure out which way the return's going. So you just look for which way they're trying to block. And now that I'm on kickoff return too, it's easy for me to pick that up. So I'd say around like the 30, 35 yard line, you can see where they're returning the ball, and then that one, I don't know, it was probably about the 25, 30 to actually realize that, it's coming right down my alley. So just made a good play on it.
Could you talk about what you've done with your body in the offseason to be able to transform from baseball shape to now football shape, and what that work has looked like?
Yeah, man, it's just been a lot of eating, 4 or 5 meals a day, and a lot of work in the weight room with Coach Tupou and Coach Love, Coach Shaw, all the guys in there. They've given me a good plan to succeed and put on the 20 pounds that I needed during the off season. So it's been a grind, but it's been good.
Do you have a question here?
Do you have a favorite tackle of your career?
Favorite tackle of my career at Oregon or of all time? Yeah, my sophomore year at Roseburg High School. So my whole family's from Roseburg on my dad's side. My dad went there, my uncle went there. I was playing linebacker, and I want to say it was a running back, cut on the edge, and he had like a 5-yard game, and I came from the other side of the field and just laid probably one of the biggest hits I've ever had on him. But I don't know, that one today was definitely up there because I was running full speed, so that was a good one.
It seems like when you're on the field, linebacker, that you rush the passer a lot. Is that like, did Oregon go into that specifically and be like, look, Bryce, you're quick, you're explosive, we're going to have you rush the passer a lot, or is that just depends on the play call?
Yeah, it really just depends on the play call. That's probably more a question for Coach Tosh. When he's on the field, maybe he sees me over there, he's like, we got to give him a blitz. But honestly, from my understanding, it's just the play call, and I just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
I may date myself here, but are you familiar with Wesley Mallard's big hit against Arizona? Early 2000s.
Yes, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
I'm just curious if you've seen that hit. Very similar to what you did tonight.
I have to pull it up for me, but I'm sure once I see it, it'll ring a bell.
Dan talked a lot about penalties in postgame and how impactful they were in the game and how he might have to change his approach to it. What was your perspective on maybe some of the mistakes and how they cost the team?
Yeah, man, it just seems like whenever we have a penalty, the other team goes down and scores. Or when we have a penalty on offense, we don't tend to score. It's just a matter of playing disciplined football. And I think Coach Lanning, he really does make a huge emphasis on it, and the rest of the coaching staff. So it's not for a lack of coaching it. It's honestly just up to us players to, implement it into our games and just being disciplined on the football field. So I think going into next week, we definitely got our feet wet. There's no preseason jitters anymore. It's time to go. It's time to roll. So I think we're in a good spot to make that adjustment. We just have to.
Were you confident coming into the day that it would be cleaned up a little bit? Were you, surprised with how many there ended up being?
Yeah, obviously you go into every single game, hoping and obviously knowing that your teammates are going to look out for one another and play clean football. Penalties are a part of football, and, it's really hard to play an absolute perfect game. But I'm optimistic that those are going to be cleaned up.
Safety this spring, Dan said, you make the move to linebacker and you start to flourish a little bit. What is it about the linebacker spot that really helped your game and helped you kind of break out?
Yeah, I have a knack for the ball, and I like contact a lot. So when you're in the box, you're always kind of in a central position around the ball. So it's easy to make plays when you play with a lot of effort. And I appreciate the coaches moving me to that position at first. I was kind of like, is this going to be the best for my game? But they saw something in me, so I made the switch with my full commitment, and it's worked out really well.
the neck pad that you wear, is there any reason for it other than the like an intimidation factor? And do you believe in the intimidation factor that comes with it?
Absolutely. 2 reasons. One, last year, with how much I like contact, you get a lot of stingers, and my neck gets sore, so that's obviously number one for purpose. Number 2, yes, intimidation. I pride myself in being in a physical presence on defense, and I feel like most physical presences wear the neck roll, the cowboy collar. So I take pride in it, and definitely support it.
You gonna wear that at center field next year?
That's the plan. Hopefully they'll let me wear my pads out there in center too.
This might be a weird question, but you're from the area, and obviously you have a lot of are you looking in the crowd and seeing familiar faces more than maybe another player on the team is? And how does that feel you when you're out there?
Yeah, I tend not to look in the crowd when I'm on the field, so I can't really, attest to that. But certainly after the game, once I go on the field, once we get out of the locker room, there's a lot of friendly, familiar faces that I've seen around town or been to school with, older, younger, all the above. So I get to spend time with them after the game, which is super nice. And yes.